So this is the second call that we're having for the Sedavi, Elise Sedavi mentor call program that we're working with in my team, in Rodney's team, for helping people that want to build the business. So what we're basically doing is the first call that we had was covering calls 1 through 3 in and the website is dailymentorcall.com. You can get on that website. You can, I mean, obviously you guys are on here already, but that's what you should be following along with. Calls 1 through 3, we covered our list, right? Making our hundreds name list, rating the list based on the qualities that make a successful doTERRA builder. And then the second piece to this was practicing your script, right? So practicing how you were going to reach out to these people on your list to offer them a sample. And the next few calls we're going to go over, and then this call and next week, it's going to be still around sampling, why we sample, especially for those of you who are on this call who've been in doTERRA for a while, and you may sample sometimes when it comes up. When you happen to be in front of the person suffering, you may put some deep glue on their head, right? But a lot of us have fallen away from sampling, even when it was something that we did consistently in the beginning. You know, it was what I was taught in the beginning, and I admittedly fell away from it. I'm sure Rodney has experienced a similar thing where we sampled at first and then we found reasons not to sample, right? And so it's really interesting, those of you who have listened to calls 4, 5, and 6, where Elise gets into this. You know, she's aware that many people in our company have fallen away from sampling. She's aware that we've been told by other builders, by other programs. There was a program out there for a while that everyone like jumped on the bandwagon with called Emerge, and not taking away anything from this lady. Like, she's great in what she does. She's great at teaching people how to sell. But doTERRA is something very different than the average network marketing company, the average sales company. And it is, you know, it is about serving. You know, that is our culture. And so the reasons that this lady gave for not sampling, some of them have some validity. Yeah, right. I get it that a sample, you give somebody a little sample like this, and maybe they use it for their head. And what happens if it doesn't work? Oh, now you can't sell to them, right? Because it didn't help them. That one little sample didn't help them. That was kind of this lady's issue with it, was that, you know, what if we, you know, sample these people and then it doesn't work, and then you're out of luck, right? They're not going to end up wanting to buy it. So what Elise says about that is it's okay when one sample doesn't work. In fact, it's part of the success of what it takes to not only get someone to purchase with you, but get someone to decide they want to build this business with you, or even, you know, share or something like that. So that's a part of this. And why? What she explains in the call is that in doTERRA, and even statistically speaking, but especially in doTERRA, the more that you build a relationship with someone, the more that you serve them, the more confident they're going to be when it's time to make that buying decision, the more confident they're going to be with wanting their network to be served in the way that you've been served, right? And so if someone's sick, because we're helping people that are suffering, if someone is sick and we show them on several occasions, right? Because we gave them the one sample that was we call them, see, we could sample them for this issue they have. And then we bring them this one sample and they try it out and they're like, oh, I don't know if it really helped me. And you go, well, let me try something else. And you go back again and you give them another sample, or you lend them a diffuser for a week, or you give an aroma touch to them, and you do all these different things. And now finally they have their aha moments, which all of you probably have had at different times, right? Now that person feels like, oh my goodness, this person took this time with me over and over and over again to make sure that like my wellness goals were met, that I felt a difference in this. And I want someone else that I care about, who I know is suffering, to experience this. Does that make sense? So Elise is saying, you know, we are the top network marketing company in the world and the top essential oil company in the world, because that is our culture, because it is our culture to share in that way, to serve others, to give people an experience. You could learn about, sit at a class and learn about how On Guard kills the H1N1, how, yeah, it's supposed to do amazing for infections. But someone who's always used antibiotics and who's always, done the things that they think work for them and is skeptical about using oils, no matter what you tell them, they may not decide to purchase until they believe it by experiencing it. She says essential oils is very experiential. Like, it is something you got to feel, you have to sense, you have to experience to really understand their power. And so, again, especially when your goal is inviting people to classes, you have classes scheduled, that's something that's on your to-do list with building this, whether it's casually or whether it's full force, full time, and you're putting classes on the calendar, you are to put those classes on the calendar enough time out, 3-4 weeks out, to where you're able to make sure that the people that are RSVPing to these classes have been sampled. Okay. And if you're just reaching out to your hundreds names list and you're getting those appointments scheduled with them for one-on-one consults, giving them that sample initially is still a very important piece to this. And another thing that really blew me away that Elise mentioned was that because she goes about it in this way, and because she takes her time with each person and building those relationships and building that trust and getting them to experience these oils in a powerful way, those of us doing this business and those of you on the call who've maybe been doing doTERRA for a couple of years, a very common thing that we hear in doTERRA, especially when we are doing it and we're enrolling a bunch of people and we're getting people to love the oils, a very common thing we hear all the time is, I can get people to fall in love with these oils all day long, but for the life of me, I can't find somebody that wants to do this with me as a business. Like, everybody just wants to use the oils. No one wants to actually sell the oils with me. And Elise says that her percentage on getting people to build this business with her is 95% of the people. That's like shocking to me, crazy shocking and incredible. And it makes sense why she's triple diamond, because it takes, 12, 18 people to build a business with you to get to triple diamond or triple presidential diamond. So it's all clicking for me. And if she attributes bringing all these builders in to taking her time and building the trust and the relationships and the experience and showing people how to do this as she does it with them by the sampling model, then why wouldn't we all be doing that? If ultimately we want to feel like, we want people to feel like what we're doing for them, they could easily do for others. That's the duplication model. And so what me and Rodney were talking about earlier was that, yeah, like, I've been doing this for 5 years, almost 6 years. Rodney's probably been doing it for about 3 or 4 years now. And so Ruth is on the phone, on the call. She's been doing this a few years. And so we're probably at a point where we're a lot more confident and comfortable with, skipping some of the sampling part and just jumping in and talking to someone and educating them properly. We have some level of credibility from our backgrounds. We really sound convincing. We're good at sales, and we can sell the oils, right? I mean, really, we can without sampling. I've done it for a lot of the time, but we're not attracting enough builders like we want, even still for us. So that's a big part of being, we need to be more, have people feel like they can do what we do. They can duplicate what we do. And so then people feel like they have to know all the stuff that we know, and they can't do it on that level. But if we go through the steps in the simple form that Elise puts in place with the sampling model and serving model and doing this experience before the invitation, and then we're going to go through all the different steps, what that looks like for sampling, for enrolling, for getting them on LRP, for sharing the business, for sharing the sharing piece. But if she's saying that it is greatly attributed to this sample model, then we got to start sampling. We have to sample as much as possible, I'm not saying lose out on the sale. Like, again, if somebody reaches out to me and it's a referral and they're like, oh, Ruth said you helped this person with their allergies. I am in desperate need. I've been sick as a dog. Please help me. I just want to buy. Like, I'm ready to buy because they already believe it's going to help them because they believe the person that referred them. Sure. Like, I'll sell to them. I'll still sample them that day so they can start using something while their kit comes in. So there are going to be exceptions to the rule, right? But we got to get back to sampling for classes and in general when you're reaching out to your names list. So that's a big part that I wanted to kind of go over, because especially for those of you who've been on and in doTERRA for a while, and this is not something you do consistently, we got to get back to that. Something you can keep on you all the time is this little keychain. Like, I have a much bigger case that I use as well that I've shown before, and you can also get, where did I put that big case? I don't know where it is now. Rodney, if you could find the one in the couch, there's a bag on the couch with the purple one. If you could bring that into me so I could show them. But this keychain one is one that you could easily have on you. It carries 8 oils. You could always keep it on you. So wherever you go, Zorana, I know you're on the call. I'm going to call you out on this. I'm going to call you out on this because I know for a fact you go places and you meet people and you're in these groups with these women and you do the women's groups and this and that and the other. And I know you've told me that people have been sick and suffering with stuff and you don't sample them because you don't have it on you. So keep this on you so you can always give people an experience when, yeah, that's great. When you know, when it comes up, you're prepared. And this is $6.99 on your back office and it comes with 8 bottles. Keep it full at all times. I walk around with this, which carries a lot more. See? So I keep this on me in my purse, in the car, whenever I go out. So just be prepared with your samples when it comes up, but also prepare from your 100 names list. I'm going to give you just a couple different ideas. So I use this. I have, let's see what's in it. I have this little pad, and I'm going to post the, link for you guys to buy this on the team page when this call is over. But if you want to know, the company is Share Oils. So shareoils.com. But it's really cool. You just write what the name of the sample is, what it's used for. There's different categories here, and then you explain to them how to use it, right? So if it's breathe for asthma. And then on that, I would check off respiratory system. And then I would say, apply a couple of drops to your chest, apply a couple of drops to the bridge of your nose, to your forehead, put a couple of drops in your hand and inhale deeply, apply to the soles of your feet. So you just explain to them how to use it, kind of like a prescription pad, right? So these are really cool. I use these for when I do, you know, kind of more, some of the less common ones that I tend to sample people. So I'll use this. So I can just, you know, categorize it based on like how they would use it if it's an oil that I don't sample as often. Then I have 3 of the most common ones that I sample in a card form. So it's a little peppermint card. And all of these designs, if you want to order them, I can send you the designs. They're already made. A friend of mine made them. They'll send them to you for free or whatever. You just got to print them out. You just go to it's a business card size. It's a business card. So on the back of this, you can put your business card. The front of it, you can put the oil that it is and some things that it does, you know, how to use it or whatever. They even have a little hole puncher. So sometimes I punch a hole in them and then I just stick the sample right in like this. So super simple. You keep these on you. I have it in lavender/serenity because I like to sample serenity also because it's a blend and they can't buy it anywhere. On Guard, I love to do the beadlets. And then I do peppermint a lot. And I do deep blue. Those are the ones my go-tos for sampling. Like occasionally I'll do, you're asking me for the password now. Occasionally I'll do Melaleuca. Like if somebody has like something on their skin or something going on in that way, like I'll do Melaleuca for that. Some of the less common things, right? Because some people do have skin issues, but it's not something I do all the time. Another one is DigestZen, right? Peppermint helps with digestive issues, but sometimes if I want them to just try DigestZen, like I'll do that too, or Breathe. But peppermint works for that. So if you want to keep it super simple, do peppermint, On Guard lavender, and deep blue. I like to do the little deep blue creams. Can you grab the deep blue cream box there, Rodney, so I can show them? Because you could get 10 of these for $5. And I like these because when it's pain, you give them a little bit, because we don't fill these up. You just put like 10 drops in here, 15 drops in here. So if their pain is like their entire back or shoulders or something like that, I would rather give them this where they have more to put on. If it's a headache, then yeah, the oil's fine. But I like to do the cream for that reason. Elise talks about sampling the cheaper oils. Like somebody has a skin issue, you don't want to sample them helichrysum, right? Because they're going to be like, what? I got to spend $75 for this oil for my pimples? I'll stick with Neutrogena or whatever, right? So you want to make sure to sample the cheaper ones, and it's easier for you as a business to sample the cheaper ones instead of sampling the expensive ones. So, you know, that's a good way. Rodney, they're going to ring the doorbell in a minute to give you some packages, if you could grab them for me. So, hold on one second. So we want to sample the cheaper oils. We want to sample things that people are going to feel the difference with quickly, right? So if they say, you ask them, what are your wellness concerns? And they say they have diabetes, this is not going to help diabetes, right? We have to sample for symptoms that we know they're going to experience quick relief. They're going to see the feeling of it help them faster, right? So you say, well, what I do if they say diabetes, I say, well, what does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? What does it cause? And normally they'll say, oh, sometimes I get nauseous. Sometimes I get pain in my feet, like circulation is bad. I get neuropathy pain. That we know we can help, right? So always ask for the symptoms that you know the oils work for quickly. Breathing, digestive, colds, skin problems, sleep, stress, things like that, right? That's important. But that's what we do for sampling. So I use the cards, I use that, I use this case, the keychain. So these are just tools that you can just start to have on you and make it much easier for yourself to get the samples in people's hands, but to make sure they have the information on how to use them. Because what's the point? You get somebody a sample and they're going to go, what do I do with this? I don't remember what she said or what I'm supposed to do with this. So always give them instructions with the cards. You can, I think these are like $4 for 50 pages of them. So, you know, the tools are out there that you can get to make this easier for you. And make sure you do schedule enough time for your classes where you're able to, sample the people before they attend the class. Big issue. Okay, so that's basically what I have for you guys. Let me just double check the notes and see if there's anything else I want to mention that I mean, you guys are listening to the call, so you're probably hearing all of this and I'm just reiterating it, but adding a little bit of my own tools, my own experience with sampling. So yeah, ultimately it just gives us the opportunity to serve people more times so that when they're making that buying decision, they are very secure with that decision because they felt the difference it brings in their lives and their health. It's important to sample one oil at a time for that reason. Again, because one oil at a time, if one doesn't work, you have an opportunity to give them another one. That one doesn't work, you know, so you have these extra times you can see them. So you're not going to give them like 3 oils for 3 conditions. You want to sample one condition at a time, one oil at a time. And when they have a aha moment with one area, then that should be at the point where they come to learn more. You don't want to give them every little sample for every condition they have because now they don't have to buy anything. If they work, they have them for God knows how long because those oils, you know, even 10 drops could last people for a while. So you want to make sure it's one oil at a time for one condition. The only exception to that I will do is if I'm shipping them out. If I'm mailing I'm not really touching the person, like having a real contact with them. I'm just shipping out the samples. And so if I'm teaching an online class, to give you an example, I'm teaching an online class this month, the end of the month. So I'm shipping samples out. So I'm doing 2 for that, because if they said they have an emotional issue and a physical issue, like I'm just sending, I'm making sure that they're very different issues so that they genuinely know like that the oil is helping that one condition. But I do it maybe 2 for when I'm shipping them out, because it just for time purposes, it's going to take too long for them to say one didn't help them and then send them another one. Now the class is already coming up because I got a shipping time in there. So when you're doing that, that makes sense to do a couple for them, right? But when it's in person and you're planning ahead of time for the class, you should have plenty of time. Give yourself 4 weeks and you follow up with them. Like, don't just give them the sample and wait a week. Like when they have it, reach out to them and let them know, I'm going to call you in 2 days, 2 or 3 days. Like, don't wait a ton of time, because that's going to make the time go by too much, and your class time is going to be up, and then you won't know whether they've had their experience or not. I guess that's pretty much. Rodney, did I not? Is there anything you feel like I haven't mentioned that maybe you find important? You've been in the longest. Something that you found helpful?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say when I used to sample, I remember I would actually post them like, oh, I'm giving out samples to anyone who's interested, and then I'd give out a bunch of samples. I usually got those 3-pack things from, I think doTERRA still sells those, I don't know, but the thing is, you have to build the thick skin, because sometimes people, they won't end up buying with you. And for me, I was just like, yeah, I got some enrollments from them and that was good. And then for those couple people that didn't enroll and they kind of went MIA, dodging me, it like bothered me too much. Do you know what I mean? So maybe I'm past that now. It's more about like getting over your ego. Yeah. And yeah, because not everyone's going to enroll with you who tries the samples. Yeah. It's not about that, though. It's about, just like she said, it's about supporting your people, doing the prepping before you go to a class or before you have a consult with them, that they can't say, oh, well, I haven't tried them yet. You know what I mean? Those kinds of things. So it's really important to sample these people and there's also something inside their mind that they know that you've supported them, that you have, given your resources to them, and they're a lot more amped to start with you when they know that. So yeah.
Absolutely. There's so many, there's pros and cons to everything. Absolutely. And I do feel like there are more pros to doing that extra service with them. Yes, there are going to be people, like in anything, that just want a freebie of something, and you can, chat with them initially. You can qualify people also by asking them to maybe chat with you on the phone and discuss their wellness goals, or to mention what their wellness goals are, and you create a conversation with them, and you can get a vibe if somebody's just trying to get something free, and or if they really have an interest and they really are open to trying and learning and experiencing it. And you can make that call. If I feel like someone's just I don't care about sending one out or giving somebody a little sample of something, whether or not they're interested or not. But if I see that, like, they're like, oh, that didn't work, send another one. That didn't work, send another one. I know that they're just trying to get free stuff. Like, you can tell when that's the case, and you can make that call. But I think for the most part, if someone is truly suffering with something and they're looking for solutions and they're looking for options, and so many of the people that come to us, it is in a genuine way. Like, they want help. They are sick of being sick. And so, giving them the experience is an important part of the process. And ultimately, you could argue it either way, both ways, pros, cons, there's pros and cons to everything. But ultimately, the person with the highest rank in the entire company, who makes the most money in the entire company, says that this is why she's gotten where she's gotten. And so for me, that's enough to believe it. And whether I'm hesitant for other experiences I've had with it, to just do it her way for a while and give her the benefit of the doubt, because she's proven herself, obviously. So, and I can understand her reasoning for it. It makes sense to me too. So, absolutely. Like, we just got to get back to it. And, and everyone's going to sample differently, based on your budget. You may not be able to sample the amount of people that I sample, the rank and income that I have, but whatever that is for you, it's okay. If you can only budget 30 samples a month instead of 100 a month, like maybe I do, that's okay. Then you just make sure that the people that you're serving each month are being served properly within your budgets. And that's why I say, do the cheaper oils, $5 for this, the peppermint, lavender, or if you can't do Serenity, do lavender, peppermint, and On Guard, I do the beetlets. I do the beadlets because if I'm sampling On Guard, it's because the person's already got the cold or they have a sore throat, and I just feel like the beadlets internally are a better experience, a quicker experience with the throat getting numb right away, and it's only a quarter of a drop, so it's even less and it's already diluted with a little bit of coconut oil. So even though they're still like, oh my God, this is crazy, right? If they were to take this and go like that in their mouth with no coconut oil and get a full drop, that may be a little too intense for them. But I believe that this is the best way to apply it for On Guard for the cold. So I just do the beadlets, plus they're cheaper. You can get 3 or 4 beadlets in there. They're like $15 as opposed to paying $33 for the oil. So, again, you look at what your costs are for things and you can make things a little more affordable that way too. Melaleuca, again, it's a cheaper oil. It works for many skin issues. So that's one I go to for a skin issue. The Breathe, peppermint works for that anyway. But sometimes I decide I want to go with Breathe or I want to go with Digestin. So either way, you just, pick and choose those things. Try to stick to the 10 basic oils. Like, don't get really creative with sampling and get into like the yarrow palm and the helichrysum and the, emotional oils and all this other stuff. Like, stick to the oils that they're probably going to enroll with, so that you can also get them to enroll with the kit, because that's also a goal for us. Like, don't go crazy sampling like rosemary and basil and these other oils that they're not in any of the kits, because they might go, well, let me just buy basil then. It's not in the kit, so give me basil. No, we don't want that. We want them to get the oils from the kits. So do that, but stay away from like frankincense, right? Because that's a super expensive oil. And there may be a place for frankincense. Maybe the person has really bad vertigo, and we know it's amazing for vertigo. But make it clear to them, like, this is a pricey oil. Like, I'm giving it to you because I really want to help you. And just know that, when you get the kit, it's basically free in the kit. But maybe you only do like 5 drops of frankincense because it's a pricier oil, right? Or wait till you can use your points and get a free bottle. So it's definitely not an oil I sample as often, but there's been a couple times I found like there's a place for it. So you guys will know, you'll know what makes sense for you and what's cost effective and what works for you, what feels right for you. The important thing is to just do it on some level, and not shy away from it and not get away from it or try to find shortcuts, because long term it's going to be much harder, to grow and to reach your goals. I wonder today, like, I really truly wonder what my organization would look like had I done it her way from the very beginning, and had I not made my own shortcuts and rushed through certain things. And yes, still I had a level of success and I still got people to enroll, and I got a couple builders, and I've got quite a few people who love their oils. But I wonder how much more of a sharing community I would have, how many more builders would be on our team had I done it her way. So, just let's do it her way. Her way is the way that has been number one for the entire time that doTERRA has been in existence. So I'm excited to implement it now and to have the system in place to do that. So that's basically it. So you guys, I know you guys have been role playing. So for next week, we're going to start reaching out and contacting people to then offer the samples. So make sure that if you're comfortable with that script from call number 5, you can start contacting people. Try to get them on the phone if you can. I know sometimes when you're doing the online thing, like I'm having to chit chat with people via Messenger or whatever, because the class is online. I'm just trying to get samples to them. But I've done a lot more phone calls than I normally do. It's something that I tend to shy away from myself. Like, I rather just text people and email people and Facebook message them than get on the phone and have a conversation. But there's something to be said for those conversations, and again, serving and making those connections and building trust with people. And so I'm getting, when I get a question now or someone reaches out to me, instead of just saying, answering their questions online and trying to get them to buy via messaging back and forth, like, I've been more deliberate about setting up those calls, either getting them to come in person if they're local to me, or setting up phone calls with them and really just, talking and hearing them out, and hearing their frustrations and hearing them complain about how sick they've been or their family have been, and just being that ear for them is, for some people, it may be the one thing that gets them to decide to give this a try, is that they feel heard for the first time. You know, we all know how we feel when we walk into a doctor's office and they just kind of like want to rush us out of there and write a script and be done with us. And so just being, you know, someone that can listen and be a shoulder for them during these rough times when they come to us, when they're sick, when their families are sick, when they're worried, when they're frustrated, when they're desperate, you know, being that for them is big. I remember a girl on my team, a lady on my team that's been with me for a few years now, that I had tried for a long time to get her to buy oils and to get her to do this, you know, even on a sharing level. And it took me years. And it's interesting that she mentioned one day, I didn't even remember that this went down like that, but she said that one of the things that convinced her to get the oils and that convinced her to just be a part of whatever I was doing was that she was having a really hard time. I think her dad was really sick, like almost ready to pass away. He did pass away since then. And we had a call. We were supposed to talk about the oils and talk about getting her started. And she reached out and just said, you know, she was having a really bad day and she didn't feel good, you know, so she basically was canceling on me, apologizing for that because she didn't feel good. And I still apparently said, well, you know, can I call you? Can we just talk and you know, and be just to be a friend to you, to hear you out and see if I can offer some guidance or just be an ear for you. And we got on the phone and we talked, and I didn't do that so that she'd buy oils. Like I just did that because I was being a friend. But she years later told me, I didn't even know that was the impact it had. But years later, she told me, like, you know, Marlene, what finally got me to feel like I wanted to just be a part of what you were doing was, you know, that day when you called me when I was in really bad shape and just really sad and broken, and you were there for me, like one of the only people there for me. And so even though I didn't know how amazing these oils were, and I didn't know how they were going to change my life and how they were going to inspire me to do this as a business as well, I just knew that what you were doing was making a difference in my life. And I just wanted to be a part of that. And so, you know, that's powerful, you know, that we can be that for people. And I for years, I didn't even know that was the case with her. So, you know, just again, getting back to the basics of doing the things that we love about doTERRA. Like, why do we love doTERRA? We love doTERRA because we go to these events with them and we feel like we're a part of their family. We get excited when we hear how they're changing the world all over the world. You know, we get excited to listen to Emily talk about how much she believes in us and watch her tear up on stage and show her heart. Like, that's what we love about doTERRA. So let's be that instrument for others. You know, let's show other people that that's what our company is about. And the only way to do that is to serve them. And the result of all of that service and loving on people and giving them experiences with the oils and showing them they work will be the sale without us really even trying at that point. You know, by the time I helped Natalie, or I said her name, but my friend, she was ready to buy simply because I served her in the time when she needed it the most.
Can I mention one thing?
Sure.
Two things. Firstly, I went to a convention years ago, I think in Orlando area, and there was a woman who was a diamond or a blue diamond, and forgot her name, but anyway, she was actually on the pro sales training that we had recently for $100 in free oils. But anyway, she said, you know, for these people, you have to really be there for them more than just a salesperson, but like, you know, a comrade, you know, eat their food, even if you don't like it, you know, type of thing. If they invite you over for dinner or whatever, she's like, it's so much more about building relationships. And that's what we do. What I typically do is, and I learned this from Marlene's mom, is I ask the universe to send me people to heal. And then I'm just here to serve them. And that's more than just providing for them oils, but also to be kind to them. And, you know, like Marlene said, being here. That, and then I also want to go back to Elise's modules. So when Marlene said, when you go to a doctor and, you know, they don't give you a lot of, you know, they don't give you an ear really, they don't really listen to you. They just want to get you in and out with a synthetic drug or whatever. What I liked about Elise is that she says, you should remind people when you give them an oil. For instance, if they said they have a headache and you gave them peppermint oil, you let them know, you use this peppermint oil, but remember, when you go to a doctor and a drug doesn't work because everyone's body is different, that it doesn't mean that there's not something else that could work for you. You go back to the doctor and they give you something else until something works. Same thing with essential oils. Everyone's body is different. We have different biological infrastructure, right? We're different bio-individuality. And so if a peppermint doesn't do what you're hoping for, if you don't get the results that you want, let me know. And then we can try something else together. Another thing I like that she said is that she uses the word together because you're in this as a team. I just wanted to throw that out there. But the reason why she does that is because the next morning, if it happens to not work, I mean, if it works, great. But the next day when they tried it and it didn't work or whatever, they don't think to themselves, oh, okay, essential oils don't work. They remember what you said and think, oh, okay, like she said, or like he said, it might just be my body. I'm going to go and ask for something different. And she's going to give me a different sample. You know what I mean? So I like that.
I like that too. That's very important to mention when we're at that sampling conversation, which I'm assuming is in a future call. So we'll definitely get into that more in detail to help you guys make sure that you're sampling properly. So it's, again, mentioning those things so they don't automatically think, oh, it's not going to work. Like that was the whole like Emerge Ladies issue. And then the other thing that I was going to say, which not just, as you were talking, I thought about it and now it just slipped my mind. What was the first thing you said?
Excuse me. About the woman who was at convention who said that eat dinner with these people even if you don't like their food.
Right. So yeah, because one of the things I hear a lot from people when it comes to sharing and talking to people and educating about the oils is, I don't know, Marlene, I feel like I'm pushing it on them. I feel like I'm being salesy. And so when you do the sampling, it kind of helps take away that stigma that you may be feeling because you're just giving someone something, you're serving them, you're giving them something for free. Hey, try this out, you know? And so that helps you not feel so salesy or so like you're pushing. And if that is still the case for you, like if giving a sample to someone still makes you feel like you're intruding on them or whatever, I encourage you to reframe that, because if you are doing that, I'm assuming it's because you believe in the oils. It's because they've helped you in some way. It's because you love them. And so if that's the case, to serve someone else and provide a free sample to someone is just an extension of you wanting to help them. And why would you ever rob someone of the opportunity to experience something that had such a great impact in your life? And that can be in the conversation. Like, I just want to give you this because in my life, I suffered from XYZ and this oil really helped me. And I hear you're suffering. I hear you're in need. And I just want to offer this to you to help you feel better. You know, if it works for you, great. I'm happy to have you learn more, but I just want to help you. And that should take away the whole like salesy stigma thing that a lot of people, I hear that all the time. But just remind yourself that, you know, you're robbing someone else of the gifts that these oils have brought to your life. Because obviously if you want to share them with someone else, it's because they've helped you. And so just keep that in mind when you're serving others and providing samples to them.
Can I mention something? So if someone says why they don't feel comfortable, they feel salesy, whatever, you know, that's a block. And so if you guys haven't read it yet, The Answer is a really great book by John Assaraf, and he talks about getting rid of blocks. And if you have a block about selling oils, then that's something that once you remove that block and you recognize that what you're doing every time you don't provide these oils for people is a great disservice to them. Someone's coughing up a lung and you don't provide beautiful natural medicines that could alleviate those symptoms and change their lives forever. If you feel guilty about that, that's an unnecessary block that I would encourage you to eliminate. And so you can do more good in the world. So like I said, it's very psychological sometimes, and there's exercise to do that. And I would just encourage you guys to read that book. It'll really empower you.
Yeah, and I think the sampling piece is, again, going to help remove some of that, because instead of telling someone, oh, let me teach you about these oils, and you learn about them and then you just buy them, you're taking away that piece because you're now sampling and serving them to the point where they're going to say, I want to buy this. Like, you're not that conversation with you telling them to buy it or asking them to learn more about it. They're going to say, oh my God, because the goal is you're going to give them an experience that actually gives them an aha moment. So they're going to take that whole salesy thing out, because they're going to come to you and be like, I want to learn more. When you ask them, how did it help you? Did you feel the benefits of it? If it's yes, they're going to be like, oh my God, yes. What the heck was that? Like, what was that? I need to learn more about this, or I need this, right? So then now you're just helping them do what they're asking you to do, right? So the sampling is actually going to help you kind of overcome that piece, because you're not just educating people and talking to them about oils and trying to get them to come to a class and trying to get them to buy. Like, you're giving them an experience first that will result in them asking for more, wanting more, wanting to learn more, or wanting to purchase. And even if they say they want to purchase, no, now you're going to take a step back and you're still going to bring them to a class, because the idea is not for them to purchase an oil, it's for them to change their lifestyle. And that comes through the whole education piece of coming to a class and going through that whole process. But I think the sampling piece is really going to help you get away from feeling the stigma of you're pushing stuff on people. You're just, who doesn't like something for free if they're willing to try it, right? So get to sampling, get your tools. Next week, I'm going to make the assignment. Those of you who sent me your samples and showed me that you have your tools to start sampling, you don't have to do it again. But I didn't get that from everyone. And it's such an important piece. So to get the password for next week's call, we're going to be working on calls. This was 1 through 3 last week. This was 4 through 6. And then next week is going to be 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to ask again for the samples. And if you haven't sent me your 100 name list yet, send that to me. And also hear the first call, which involves that piece, which was the first call we did. You know, it's 1 through 3. I mean, if you listen to Sedavi's calls, like, you're getting a lot of it anyway, but I do incorporate some things that just from my own experience in the calls too. So if you want to see the recording, just send it to me. And then next week, it's going to also be requesting you guys send me your samples, and then start contacting and listening to calls. Was it 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And we'll get back on Friday, next Friday. Is next Friday? Oh, it's Black Friday, actually. So hopefully you guys are done with your shopping by the time we get on the call. And we'll just go from there. So thank you guys for being on. If there's any questions or comments or contributions, or anyone wants to chat and say anything, we have a few minutes. Just unmute yourself, or if you can't unmute yourself, chat in the thing and I'll unmute you, or you can write your question out and I'm happy to answer, or Rodney can answer. He's had his own experiences, some similar to mine, some different. Let me see who's on the call. There's 5 people. Anyone? And I know Anna was practicing your role play. Anna, how did your role play go? Somebody's chatting. Clear. Anna, how was your role playing with offering samples? Does it feel comfortable to you to start reaching out to people and offering the samples now that you've practiced?
Yeah, I think it was not that bad. It was pretty easy. And I actually, like I told you, I just signed someone in yesterday in my office because someone had a headache. And then I put some of the peppermint on his head, and everyone was like, what's going on? What are you guys doing? So the other person that was asking what's going on, then the next day he's like, hey, I want to talk to you more about the oil. So I sat down with him, explained everything, and he's like, okay, I'm in. So I'm like,
awesome.
Really?
You're like, I didn't even sample you.
Yeah,
So.
I was like, no, I did sample him a little bit. Like, I gave him a little bit of the peppermint, and he ended up being asthmatic and everything. So it's going to be really good for him. But I was like, that was too easy. But
that's
yeah,
so awesome.
I mean, those were like 3 people. And the other girl was like, oh yeah, I'm in. You have a customer here. But I think she needs to go through the class first. And yeah. I told her that I was going to give her some samples when I get them next week. So, but I did bring her my cream, my deep blue, and I kind of massaged her knee because she had fallen. So I massaged her and put it on her knee, and she was like, oh yeah, that feels really good. But yeah, I mean, like, kind of sampling definitely helps.
Yes. I mean, you've done that from the beginning. Like, you just kind of intuitively knew, or have been around people that were complaining about different issues, and you were just like, oh, wait a minute, I got the oil for that.
Yeah.
So, you know, that just is so awesome when you start and you're so excited about them and you have them on you. And because think about it, all of us, how many times we're around our family, we're around other people, and you hear them complain about, I have this ache, I have this pain, I have this, I have this, that. So be prepared, have your oils on you and put them on people. And you're going to see, and put them on people in front of other people like Anna did. So people are like, what are you doing? It smells so good. That's awesome. I love that. And I'm excited for you. I know you have classes coming up, and that everyone coming to our class on Sunday has been sampled. So that's super exciting. I know that's going to make a huge difference in the results of that class. And so you're doing it the right way from the beginning. So you should be, you know, soaring ahead of Rodney and I, who really didn't do it the right way for a long time. But we're fixing those things. 2020, and it's funny because my assistant today, she goes, Marnie, that's a powerful year. That's the year of vision. 2020. I'm like, oh my God, that's true. Our 2020 year for our team is going to be the year of vision, the year of really seeing exactly how it's going to happen, that we touch a ton of lives and reach our goals, you know, our goals to whatever that is, you know, if it's just making a few extra bucks to pay, you know, your car bill, or you hate your job and you want to just be the oil lady like me and Rodney. Well, Rodney's the oil guy, I'm the oil lady. Which for us is like, I mean, I could probably speak for him that we can't imagine doing anything else with our lives at this point, and really feel like it's the best job in the world. Like super grateful and blessed that this is what we get to do and make an amazing living at it. So 2020 is our year. I am excited. I see the other people on the call, Zorana and Kelvin, for next week. You guys are going to have your samples ready to go. So for the bottles, Glass Bottle Outlet is my favorite website. It's the best deals that I found, Glass Bottle Outlet. If you want the cards, let me know and I will have Jay send you the design, and you can put your own business card on the back. If you don't know how to design that, I know Rodney has a little design gig on the side he'll do for a small fee. He'll help you out with that. And then Share Oils is the pad that I love to use too. So I will post that in the page today so you guys can get the tools and get that going, so we can start sampling and getting your people their experiences.
Marlene, si puedes, me envías fotos de la tarjeta para coger idea y pues diseñar la mía pues en esto, hoy, porque estoy de vacaciones, así que ya tú sabes.
Sí, para hacerlo en español. Oh, sí, esa es buena idea. Y si lo puedes hacer en español y compartirlo con el equipo de Puerto Rico, perfecto.
Sí, estoy hablando con Liz en estos momentos por WhatsApp, que está haciendo pues unas órdenes, y le estoy diciendo pues lo que hay que hacer.
Perfecto. Así pues yo envío la foto. He's just asking me to send pictures of it so that he can translate it and have the materials in Spanish. So if you prefer Spanish, we will have them available soon. If you have clientele that speak more Spanish, we'll have that available as well. And that's the benefit of being on a bilingual team. So that's awesome. I'm happy to do that. Awesome. Well, I am going to let you guys go. It's Friday night. Thank you guys for being on. I'm excited to hear what happens in the next week. And I will be offering this call in Spanish the hour before our hour. So ours are going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern on Fridays, 7 p.m. I'm going to do the Spanish call. So if you prefer Spanish, jump on that call instead. I'm going to be offering both languages because I have a huge team in Puerto Rico and other parts of the world that speak Spanish. So, all right, guys, I will talk to you soon. Let me know how the week goes. Take care. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.